You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leck.
And in the name of Ryan Whitman, the three of us are...
Rope
Break! And I'm sorry we're a little late. You know, normally the review would have been done a lot sooner, but, you know, we had, like, commitments. I actually had some commitments that I had to fulfill, but, you know, I'm sorry for that. My apologies, but we're right here to talk about NXT. You know, a good show, a terrible main event. I will just throw that out there. At least I'm not, you know, Jean-Paul is not that upset. I'm the one. So
no, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The more, like, when I watched it, and, you know, you're kind of just like, what am I even watching? And then when you really think about it and really dive into the details like we do here on Rope Break, because we never miss a beat, you know, then you're like, this is really kind of bullshit. But we'll get into it. Like he said, it was almost like you're eating a delicious meal, good appetizer, good main course, and then the dessert is absolute bullshit.
It was absolute trash, you know, so I just, like, tossed that crap. So, you know, before we start, thank you so very much, family, for watching every single one of our videos. Thank you to our newest subscribers. I really appreciate that. Two good friends of mine, so thank you so very much for those two that, like, are helping our cause of Road Break, so thank you again. And don't forget to watch out, you know, Monday Night Raw review with Jean-Paul, Raw Underground, a little different concept, all the thoughts of Jean-Paul, and a little bit of mine, you know, kind of like through Jean-Paul. So, like, you know, check that out. And also we have AEW Dynamite from yesterday. Numbers came out. We normally don't add the numbers because we're, like, doing this a lot earlier that when the numbers come out by Jean-Paul, 901 for AEW, 785 around that for NXT.
Oh, yeah, I think it was set. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was like they had like 150,000 more viewers. And now, see, I don't know when the viewers dipped, if like AEW was hot the whole way through or just at the end, at the beginning. But see, this is the thing. At first I said, because I'm not that big of a fan of Eric Bischoff. Like if you watch the AEW review, you'll hear me say that. So I wouldn't have tuned in for that. But I know there's millions, you know, and millions like the Rock's fans of Eric Bischoff's fans. So what are they going to do? They're going to tune in because, hey, Eric Bischoff and Chris Jericho, that's got to be legit. Even, you know, if you like Orange Cassidy, that's even better. So they're going to tune into that.
Cardona.
And I mean, if you wanted to see that, which I did, I thought the match was a little underwhelming. It was mostly Cody selling the whole time. But, you know, and then the main event, a lot of people like Darby Allin. Like you said, he gives off those Jeff Hardy vibes. A lot of people like him. So, you know, there was a lot of stuff to grab you on the show. And then this show, it was like that we'll get into, like Pat McAfee, like really the Colts old punter, like, you know.
That's something, but let's start, you know, Jean-Paul, shall we? So #1 contenders for the women's match, Dakota Kai going against Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley kind of with a new look, kind of like more blondier than normal, kind of looking a little bit more.
Yeah, almost like platinum, like platinum.
Like peroxide, you know, a little more on that. But like they put out a really good match, and luckily for the thing that we've been pushing, Dakota Kai gets the win. And we actually, you said it, see, because I remember last week we said there's 3 powerhouses, and it was Raquel Gonzalez, and then we said Mercedes Martinez, and then Jean-Paul said, hold on, there's one more, because I said only the Hispanic ones are the blockbusters here, or like the big, like the machines in the NXT roster. You said no, Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is one of them. So there you go. You know, this match was like I will say 20 minutes. I think they took. Pretty good. You know, Dakota Kai dominated a little bit. Rhea Ripley dominated most of it, and rightfully so. She's a lot bigger, so like of course she's going to be more powerful than Dakota Kai. But then what happens, Jean-Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the match was good. How it was like Rhea started off hot, and then the one thing I noticed was funny when Dakota Kai made her comeback. That's when they did the picture-in-picture, and it's not like you really didn't see it. Then when they come back, it's like, oh, okay, Rhea Ripley's dominating again because they're really trying to push her. But like you said, it was good that, you know, Dakota Kai gets the win here. But of course, you know, it starts to feud because, you know, who comes out? Of course, the muscle comes out, and you know, it's gonna start that feud.
Oh, yeah, it was Mercedes Martinez. She comes out. She did a big boot onto Rhea Ripley, and then Dakota Kai did a go-to kick. So, you know, the captain from tick kick, we go from one kick to another kick, and that pretty much ended Rhea Ripley. So Dakota Kai becomes the #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. So she's going to be challenging Io Shirai at NXT TakeOver 30. So that's good. Like we've been saying, Jean-Paul was actually the first one. He's like, hey, I think she wants a match. I think they're going to try to push her. So he was right one more time. So it's good because, like you said, we need different people challenging. It's not going to be the same Rhea Ripley's. It's not going to be Tegan all the time. We need, like, variety because this division has a lot of things that you can pick from. So a lot of elements, like you said, Mia Yim, you have Candice, you have even Aaliyah, you have Zaya Lee, all this kind of Shotzi, you have all this, and now Martinez also. So I think it's pretty good, and it helps that like you are trying to promote variety.
Yeah, and also with her, they're kind of like the Robert Stone brand. It's kind of like a joke, but then Mercedes Martinez, look how like much legitimacy she adds to
exactly. Oh yeah, that's a great point. Now we're actually seeing seriousness, and now there's going to be a rivalry between Mercedes Martinez and Rhea Ripley. You can see that match probably will open NXT Takeover 30. I think that is going to be like that. The opening match, Mercedes Martinez going against Rhea Ripley. It's not confirmed, but we can see that like being announced,
I could definitely
in the next couple of weeks. Jean Paul, we move on to like the guy that like for some people believe that he's a fluke, is a one night lucky day, or like the guy that is pretty much the upset, and that's Bronson Reid. He had a match with Shane Thorne. Shane Thorne was actually on Monday Night Raw, but he was, I don't know, I would say demoted. He was sent back to NXT, but like they had a pretty decent match, pretty quick. And that's also for what? To enhance Bronson Reid.
Yeah, it makes him look good. And I guess they had a little bit of rivalry. They're both from Australia, so, they kind of had that going. But like you said, this was just Bronson Reid look good. I love how he sets up the Death Valley driver, and then he goes into that big splash. Like, I love that combination. I mean, his splash, it almost doesn't even look like he jumps. Looks like he just climbs up there and then just falls. But, I mean, it's legit. And, it looks good for him. Do I think he's going to win the ladder match? Unfortunately not. But, it's good that they're pushing him nonetheless.
It is pretty true. I agree with Jean Paul 100%. So that's pretty good. And like again, they're giving him momentum. And that's what they need. Somebody else that needs momentum is Breezango, because they're showing like they're actually arriving into the arena. And then they are, like out of the Fantasma shows up, because pretty narco-ish wise, pretty like kind of kidnappers and all of that. Pretty much accentuating like what's going on in our world. So I don't know if that's a good thing. I'm not going to even comment on that. I don't think his storyline is legit. I don't care. But like they end up kidnapping Fandango, correct, Jean Paul?
Yeah, they come out there. I popped with what they said. They're like, you want to make fun of Lucha Libre? Huh? Lucha Libre is not a joke. And they start beating the shit out of him. And I'm like, to me, that I popped, because I'm like, it's not. Lucha's legit. So they started beating the shit out of him. They threw him in the van. I will say, though, the first thing I thought is, I'm like, oh, my God, don't tell me Fandango's hurt again. Oh, and this is a way to write him off TV. I was like, if you do this, please push Tyler Breeze.
I think this part of the storyline. Because like you said, they need somebody believable to challenge Santos Escobar. And that, and maybe Kushida, but we were going to talk about Kushida in a little bit, but at least we have news from Kushida, so that's extremely good, because we haven't seen that ever since, like a month, 2 months ago, when we have the Cruiserweight Championship, the tournament. So I think that's pretty good, but like you said, it's important, and at least they're giving Breezango and like some kind of like television time. So that's good. It doesn't matter whether they're going to be winning or losing. At least, hopefully, Fandango doesn't get injured.
Oh, yeah.
If Fandango gets injured, because he has a good tendency he loves to get injured. He loves to just be making money from his house. So, hopefully that's not what happens, but good start for that. Robert Stone, Aaliyah, and Mercedes Martinez are interviewed with Mackenzie. He's like, so what happened? What did you do? Of course, tell me why. So he's like, Rhea Ripley thought that she was done with the Robert Stone brand, but the Robert Stone is not done with Rhea Ripley. So, like you said, we keep seeing the teasers of like that feud. And like Jean Paul said, it's going to be good. 2 powerhouses. And finally, the Robert Stone brand is going to be taken seriously. Even if they add 1 or 2 more girls, that would be great.
I wouldn't even be opposed if they take a tag team like Ever-Rise. Because, I mean, like you said, they are trying to push them at some point. They're not just bringing them in as jobbers. Maybe have, unless he just wants to manage women and look like a pimp. If that's what the gimmick they're going for, then okay. But if not, a tag team like that, could be legit.
I would love that. I would love that just because it's like an unknown team. But being with other people, then you become popular, or at least you get a name from it. You can get some kind of notoriety. So that's important. I think that that's what they should do. I really agree with that. Especially getting Ever-Rise is a new tag team, so give them more television time. Maybe they
if they do that, then confirm Triple H watches Rope Break,
and then that's fine. So please, Terrorizing, confirm that you watch Rope Break and do that for us. So thank you so much for that, Triple H. Let's go to the triple threat match. They did this really early. I didn't think that I thought that it was going to be the main event, but they did this really early.
if I was booking NXT now, looking back on it, this would be the main event. So at least people would go home. Like, I mean, even though you're already home, but you know what I mean. Go home
Go
happy.
to sleep, yeah.
Yeah, and then and put the main event here with Adam Cole and everything, because you know that match. I'll get into why we'll get into it. Don't worry.
Yes, we will get into it. So we're warming up. So like
this triple threat though was so legit. I thought everybody looked good.
Yeah, but who was in it, Jean Paul? Damian Priest.
Yeah, Damian Priest. Yeah, Ridge Holland and Oni Lorcan. And Oni Lorcan, when you're watching this, or you just see these guys come out, you're like, oh, Oni Lorcan is done. You're like, this guy, yeah, I mean, and you just think, like, look at him. He's like half the size of these guys, but the one thing that I thought was great is everybody looked strong. Nobody looked weak. Of course, there was a few times that typical WWE triple threat matches, one guy gets hit with a move, and he's like, okay. Like, if you ever play the game,
exactly like the ring. You know, you go down, and you got to wait, like, a good 2 or 3 minutes, and the other two can be beating the crap out of each other, and I'm done. And I'm absolutely done. So typically, like, the game is just pretty much WWE. I think that they watch the game, and then like, oh, maybe let's do this. Yeah. And you get a move, and then because in the game you go down, you have to roll out of the ring as well. But like Jean Paul was saying, like a pretty good match, intense, hard-hitting. It felt violent. It felt good. It felt like a good wrestling match. It felt like a lot of strength. So I really like that. You know, like Oni Lorcan didn't look bad, like you said. Rich Holland, it was his debut on NXT TV. He's from NXT UK. He looked pretty good too. A lot of our reports are saying that this guy has like the ability, or at least is being considered as the next best thing. Only time will tell. We'll see what they do with him, because there's been so many guys that did point into that. Neither one of them has like become a third. That what Gregory Lesnar is. So
yeah, I mean, like if you look at him, he kind of has the same build to Lesnar. You know, he's an athlete. You know, football, rugby, whatever. Rugby, and I mean, this guy can cut a pretty good promo too. So I mean, I think they're gonna push him, and it's legit because he wasn't the one who ate the pin. Unfortunately, it was our boy.
Like Jean Paul said it. Like if you watched last week, Jean Paul said Oni Lorcan is only there to eat the pin. That's what happens. I mean, the match was a little short for my taste. I think like matches like this are going well, that everybody's being portrayed good. Like the three of them are putting a great show, a good performance. They should be like extended a little bit, but like Damian Priest has pretty much ended up. Rich Holland got to move, like you said, and of course done. So like you got to wait for the bar to like even up, and then you can get in the ring again. And that allowed Damian Priest to hit the awakening onto Oni Lorcan. 1, 2, 3. He becomes the third person that is going to be a participant in the ladder match at NXT TakeOver 30.
Yeah, and I think it was it could have been from one of the European uppercuts from Oni Lorcan, I'm not sure, but Damian Priest had this golf ball size welt on the side of his head.
Yes, even like,
and that's how you know it's like, oh, okay, this is a legit
said it, Ronaldo said it, like he said, like hematoma right here, because he had like a big like thing right there. I thought that it was like how Premium Priest is, but then I'm like, no. It's like, am I seeing this right? You know I need glasses. I need the shades like Jean Paul. But it was good. I really like that. Pretty good. And I like how like he's pointing at the North American Championship. Good stuff, Jean Paul. We got news also that Dexter Loomis is out of the match because he's injured. He got injured actually towards the end of the match when he did the Hanakatame. He got injured. He's done. And William Regal informed that like there's going to be another match to like kind of determine another guy for that. So like you have a comment on that though.
Yeah, well, let me just say one thing. I don't know if you remember back in that triple threat, there was a spot that Gargano and Balor, or no, not Gargano, Balor and Thatcher were going at it, and Loomis jumped and he flipped over the ropes and he landed like in between them, kind of like oh, they like were shocked, like, and it looked like he did it like wrong, and then so when he landed, so maybe he tweaked his ankle doing that move.
Maybe it could have been.
And if you think if that's where he tweaked it, that was a pointless spot and a pointless move, and it's like, why would you even do that? Now you're out of the match.
And that's the thing is like sometimes you gotta be really careful when you do the moves. I think that like you gotta,
because that wasn't even like a move. It was just like a spot to be like, oh, look at me, I'm impressive.
Look, assess the situation, or if you're gonna do a move like that, it's not gonna be meaningful, or there's not really a reason for it. Just either do it like slowly or try to be as cautious as you can, because see, this is sidelining you from like a possible opportunity to become a champion.
This would have been his first takeover match, and now done.
But
like you said, William Regal, when he sent this message, it seemed like he was talking in the past tense, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the winners, Dexter Loomis, what the
Bronson Reid.
Bronson Reid, yeah, thank you. Too many names. And Damian Priest, and it's like, wait, why? Like, if this is pre-recorded, how do you know Damian Priest? Oh, because the whole show is pre-recorded. Oh, okay, legit. And then, but I'll excuse it because, of course, they probably had to quick whip this video message up because they were waiting for the last minute. Is Loomis? Is he done? Is he done? It's like, okay, he's done. So that's a shame. Now they're going to do something where they take the losers from the matches, from the previous matches, which I said they were going to do in the last spot regardless. Now they're having to do it anyway, so maybe I do write the show. And, I could see Balor or Gargano. Those are my two choices.
And that's fine. I mean, one of them could be really good. I think that, like, maybe strong. I don't know. Maybe they got all three of them. We'll see what happens. So, like, it's interesting. At least NXT finds ways to, like, make the wrongs right. Mm-hmm. And that's how, like, they fix things on the fly. It's like, okay, we have so many guys. All right, triple threat. Boom. All right, you guys, whoever wins gets added to the ladder match. So that's good. And it sucks for Loomis, like you said. You made a really great point.
Oh, no, I lie. It's actually, I believe it was actually 2 spots are going to be there. So, like, they're going to take all the losers from it's like 4 matches. And then the 4 guys are going to be split into 2 singles matches, and whoever wins those are going to be in it.
Well, there you go. So, like, even
so it could be 2 guys.
So, if you think about it, they have 3 more shows. So, like, we'll see what they do. Like, it's interesting, and also feels time for the shows because, like I said to you, like WWE, the taping schedule is all over the place. So when they tape, supposedly, we're not there, but like supposedly it has to be done in the first take. It's like, all right, this is going to be great. It's pretty much like a shift on any, like, customer service place, in a retail, any like that. It's like, okay, it's going to be fast. It's going to be, it's going to be brutal, but we're going to do it, right? Whatever comes out. Okay, let's go. So that's how, like, they're doing it in WWE. COVID has really affected everything. So, like, even the quality of the product, I think, in a lot of instances has been suffering from that. But, hey, they're still put the product right there. Do I have to shit on that? No. What we're going to shit about, at least I'm going to, is it's going to be like a different situation. But that comes a little later because it's time for Lucius. For the ones that don't know who Lucius is, Kid Lee, the NXT champion, going against Cameron Grimes because, of course, he interfered last week in the interaction that he had with Killer Kross, or Karrion Kross, in the interaction or like the promo that they had. So they put this match too long for me, Jean Paul. And in the end, we knew who was going to win. So I don't know the point of it.
I would have cut this match in half. You could have had this match been 2 minutes. I mean, see, the thing is, they don't want to completely bury Cameron Grimes.
Yes.
That's the problem. So he had a good showing against the champ. So you got to give him that. But I would have rather seen, and I know, like you said it, seen more time go to the triple threat match than on here. But, I mean, the whole thing was set up. They have the match. Okay, Grimes looks good. I love that, like, power slam he does where he, like, whips
when
it.
When he did that was beautiful. Like, how, like,
yeah, I mean, if you watch it, though.
The Cyclone or the Cyclone something is called. Is a Cyclone,
because
like,
I rewound it and watched it, like, 3 times. That's like a Canadian destroyer. That's all Keith Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Keith Lee, he jumps and then, Grimes just kind of goes with him.
Keith Lee is able to pull that off is amazing. Keith Lee is, like, for the ones that, like, don't really get behind Lucius, he's just an amazing wrestler. And the fact that he's able to flip like that, like a cruiserweight, says it all.
Oh, yeah. Bask in his glory. But, I mean, this match, the whole thing was just the end of it. Okay, he wins, legit. And then it's like Karrion Kross. He's like, okay, you're the guy who can make things happen. I still don't have my match. Why are you bullshit? And then it's like, no, Karrion, why are you bullshit and beating up Oney Lorcan?
Yeah. And then
it's like done.
Everybody. Is that everybody that he finds, he's walking through the building.
Who my legit pick would be Damian Priest, but if Oney Lorcan somehow wins the title, like if he gets, because he's in one of the matches.
Yeah,
I would love to see him win the North American Championship.
Oh yeah.
Because even if he wins it for a day and then done, it would be so legit.
He got beat up by like Karrion, so like Karrion pretty much destroys everybody because he wants his match with Lucius with Keith Lee. So like we'll see. We know that this match is going to be headline in Takeover. It's just like, I mean, next week has to make the official. They have to make that official because that will give you another week so you can actually promote the match a little better.
What needs to happen? He needs to put the straight jacket on Mia Yim.
That's fine. I will love that. There's a lot of controversy. You mentioned this. We're going to actually elaborate a little more because Jean-Paul and I were breaking news for you guys. Saturday, we're going to be going live. We're going to be talking about a lot of topics. So Ryan Whitman will be with us, hopefully. If not, it will be just, like a 2-man team. We were Savage Garden. We're just a duo, so we do love songs and everything.
Two dudes with attitude.
Yes, yeah, we are. Yeah, so we're gonna be talking about like there's a controversy because like this is the question that we're gonna throw, and then we're gonna elaborate actually on Saturday. So please, tune in because it's gonna be good for every single one of you guys. And that's Jean Paul also. So he's gonna give his opinions on Saturday. He's like, are intergender matches needed or they should stop happening? There's a lot of controversy with Lance Storm. Like he was saying that they shouldn't happen, and then many people like Jordan Grace, Piper Niven, they were saying, hey, we're as good as the guys. I mean, if we beat the guy up, it's our fault. So we'll be elaborating in all of that. But extremely great stuff from Jean Paul. Like he said, Carrion and Lucius, finally, they have to make that match official. So hopefully that's what happens. Jean Paul, Legado del Fantasma, or Legacy of the Phantom, or Legacy of the Ghost, or the Ghost's Legacy, however you guys want to call it. Santos Escobar and all of like his guys, they come out and finally they get Fandango and they beat the shit out of him. They beat the crap out of him. It's like, hey, this is what happens when you make fun of professional wrestling or lucha libre. This is what happens. So did you like this, Jean Paul, or no?
Oh, I loved it. I love this stable. I heard somebody say like, hey, this is what WWE should have did with Del Rio before he turned into a piece of shit and they got rid of him. They said this is how you book a stable. Like this is what Garza and Andrade could have been something maybe similar.
I've said that, right, Jean Paul?
Yep.
I said Jean Paul, Santos Escobar has been the Hispanic wrestler that has been portrayed the best in WWE. We go from like the Torero, we go from like Tito Santana, we go from like Eddie, kind of like Mamacita, whatever, but he never looked like this legit. The Rio
this guy, like he comes out, I love when he comes out, I love when he speaks Spanish and English mixed together. I think that's so legit. Like he speaks to his boys in Spanish, like, all right, like kick his ass, I love when they're like, exactly. And then when he's speaking to, the audience, the audience, he speaks in English. It's like he's so legit and everything's professional. Like, yeah, he gets his, hands dirty. He throws some punches, but he mostly has his boys do the work. And that's how a boss got to be,
Like you said, it's like, see, actually, let's go ahead, Jean Paul. Shouldn't this be the way that a guy that, like, we know with the name of Brody Lee should be portrayed as?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another topic that we're going to bring up to Raw Break Live, Saturday on Facebook Live. Join Jean Paul Egg and myself. See, another topic I'm throwing right there. The way that they're booking Santos Escobar. Shouldn't that how, like, Brody Lee should be portrayed? There you go. See how Raw Break does it on the fly. We get two great topics for you guys to talk about. So, like you said, Jean Paul, I love Legado del Fantasma. I don't want Santos Escobar to lose ever. If he's about to lose, get a sniper and then just kill the guy. No, don't.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I loved when he came and he was babyface. I loved the mask. I loved like the superhero. Kind of reminded me like a really old school, like Santo, that kind of gimmick and stuff. But then, just when he turned heel, I was like, oh, let's see where this goes. And they're taking it in all the right places.
Absolutely. So and like you said, I just love how it is now. It's just great. It's just great. Something that is not too great and I think that unnecessary is we go to like Tegan Knox against Indy Hartwell. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand what's the point of doing this. I think that like just you need to fill some time. And like the match was really quick. Tegan Knox looked like $1 million and I guess it's fine. There was a tweet that they showed from Candice LeRae because I think that that's the next feud for them. They're best friends outside, kayfabe or whatever. But I mean, like I think they're gonna have a rivalry right now because Candice is pissed. She's upset and disappointed that supposedly like she was supposed to be the one that will win that match for the number 1 contender when Tegan actually got the pin. So she's disappointed. So we're gonna see a rivalry between the two, I think. So
yeah, I mean that for Candice to be number 1 contender, I think would have made more sense if she was still babyface. I mean, even though it's like Io's babyface now, it's like I don't know. I don't like. You're not gonna go from like heel Candice being champion. I don't see that working.
And we seen the rivalry with Io, so I mean, it makes total sense.
But I mean, the match with Tegan, though, it's like I don't know. Like you bring in Indy Hartwell. I know they're hot on Tegan. Maybe they're gonna feud. Like I said, maybe they're gonna do hot potato. The title goes to Dakota Kai. You call up Io Shirai because that'll be after SummerSlam. There's rumors of SummerSlam call up, so she could be one of them. And then then they feud with Tegan, and then Dakota drops the belt to her. But then I could see it going to Candice. So boom, boom, boom. Like I could see that being the chain of events for the women's title. But otherwise, it's like, why do you bring in Indy Hartwell and you're like, oh, she's legit, and then loses, and it's like in really quick fashion. And then she beat Shotzi Blackheart the week before. So it's like, oh, so now Shotzi looks even more like a loser.
Yeah, now you said it was pretty quick. Shine is Wizard and done. Tegan gets the win. She still looks strong. The only person that she cannot beat is like the current champion. So good for her. Move on, John Paul, to now the main event. So this is when it gets hot. This is when it gets good. Then is when we're ready for shoot.
Let's to have this go the smoothest. Just walk us through the entire thing till the credits roll, and then we give the opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. So thank you. So NXT the Tag Team Championship match, Imperium with the Undisputed Era. The match started out pretty well. Like they went at it. I like where like the match. These two, we've seen these teams feud before. We've seen matches between these two teams already, so we knew it was going to be good. Kyle O'Reilly making his in-ring return after the pandemic and all of that, legit. Even like Pat McAfee was right there for commentary, so you knew that they were going to do something. You just knew. Yep. For everybody that thought, for Mark Henry, for Baba Ray, it was, oh yeah, it's legit. It's not legit, my friend. It's just not. When something's legit, nobody will be acting the way that they were acting. Okay, so that's my first point. So he was there, and he got Beth Phoenix upset. He said something, and you fill me in with that. He said something to Beth Phoenix. So
he just kept making like the short jokes at Adam Cole, and she was like, "Hey, he's our champ. he was our champ, the longest reigning. Please show a little respect to him and our brand." And he's like, "Oh well, Beth, I respect you because look at you. You're a legit athlete. You're not like." And he just kind of kept putting down Adam Cole while trying to kiss her ass. And she's like, "You know what?" She's like, "I'm good. I'm out of here." So she left, and then he's like, "Oh, what's wrong with her?" But the whole time, Tom Phillips, who, I wanted to kick him in the head because he just, he kept poking the bear for Pat McAfee. He kept, egging him on, and then that led to the chain of events.
And even like even Mauro Ronaldo, he looked kind of like a little off. He was like, "Oh yeah, like I'm sorry, but I don't really like how you disrespect the brand or your negativity. You bring all these negative comments towards us, so I don't really like this." But then is when the big thing happens because Adam Cole is actually cheering. He's cheering for, of course, O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. But then he kind of like looks around and he sees and he approaches. He goes to McAfee's and he's like, I can hear you, right? You're just like 20 feet away from me. I can hear every single thing that you're saying, right? You think that, I'm hearing to everything that you're saying. Yeah, well, it's only good humor, man. I'm just like shitty. I'm just talking crap. What's wrong? And everybody, say this is the part that I hate. Everybody stops what they're doing. It seems like there's no beef. Seems like the slider, like somebody like just unplugs the slicer, and the operation completely shuts down. So everybody's like,
yeah, except for Imperium, Undisputed Era, where they went full babyface syndrome. They're just, huh?
Yeah, like what the hell? So like, let's say Jean Paul, like we were saying, we're in a tag team championship match. Either if he gets distracted, I'm gonna be like, fucker, hey, over here. You know what I mean? Hey, the match needs to continue. Here, let's win these titles. We both go baby face dumb, and then we just turn around. And of course, like you said, Imperium takes advantage. The European bomb, beautifully executed. But then everything just like, even like, the tag titles, they're supposed to be something prestigious, something that like you want to have as a tag team. They became absolutely meaningless, worthless, because everything revolves around Adam Cole and Pat McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Jean Paul, like you were saying, finally they start like talking trash with each other, and then Triple H comes out because like they notice that there's something about this gonna happen. So Triple H comes out, but like you said, he's a wrestler. He's still active. Shawn Michaels, kind of semi-retired. You can call it retired. Hey, he did that thing in Saudi Arabia. Neither one of them attacks McAfee. Neither one of them.
Yeah, like you said, well, this thing at this point, when they came out, it already broke down. They were shoving each other, this and that. And then, Cole's on the table so he can be as tall as McAfee, But so he's on the table and he's like, subscribe to Rope Break. And then Pat McAfee's like, no, so fuck you, Pat McAfee. No, but like this whole thing breaks down and they act like Pat McAfee's like untouchable, like he's the Pope. They're just like, get out of here, get out of here. And when this thing all breaks down, I don't remember how Adam Cole's laying on the table, but he like punt kicks him in the face. I don't know if he knocked him down or what happened.
Yeah, lower stomach, like in the abdomen, he kicks him. He completely kicks him, like you said, punts him, and you said because he's a football player and that's what he used to do. So, like, of course, they were selling that. Oh my gosh, he completely destroyed his stomach.
Yeah,
he shit his pants out of the kick. You know, he completely like done.
Yeah, and but the thing that I'm like, okay, he kicked him, and like we said, there was Triple H, Shawn Michaels. Like, Shawn Michaels couldn't have super kicked him. I know that's not the feud you want to set up. The feud you want to set up is Adam Cole versus Pat McAfee for whatever reason, but you could have, had these other two wrestlers like get him out of there. They're just, they let Pat McAfee just like run wild.
Yeah, so that to me is just an insult. It's just like degrading your product. I mean, if you want to compete to Dynamite, if you want to go to the extent of Dynamite, of bringing celebrities, kind of forgetting about true professional wrestling, that's the avenue that you want to go for. I really don't like this because, again, they were selling me this big thing that is so legit, is real. People should be finding Adam Cole. The WWE should suspend Adam Cole for acting like this. Nah, his whole storyline is presented as an angle. Why? Because it was confirmed. We can tell you right now, there's going to be a match between Pat McAfee and Adam Cole in NXT TakeOver 3. Yeah. And, for me, I just feel bad, Jean Paul, because why? Adam Cole had, like, even they mentioned that, 408 days of being the NXT champion. Is this the next thing that you have for your best guy? Is this how you pay this guy for, like, one of the greatest runs, in WWE, in wrestling? I will say because this guy didn't beat just anybody. He beat, Ciampa. He beat Gargano. He beat Velveteen Dream. He beat so many guys.
Oh yeah, he beat and even before that, guys like who were there before, Aleister Black, all these guys,
Seth Rollins, all of these matches that they were great. He beat the cream of the crop. He beat the top guys in our industry for this. For a guy that like
the only thing I can think is if maybe they use this to turn the Undisputed Era face. Maybe. And then they're going to be face, and then they can feud with, I mean, not to keep on to Pat McAfee, but guys their size, they get feud with, Phantasma.
Yeah, he's not doing justice to your business, and
but I mean, I don't know. It's like they gotta do something.
Yeah, like you said, it's like going from like you're so great, and now you gotta do this. Mm-hmm. I know that, like, okay, I know Adam Cole is not the tallest guy in the world, but like just because you're not tall, that doesn't mean that you have to deal with this kind of stuff. Oh no, not, and especially not when it wasn't an issue for the past, like how many years he's been there, 3-4 years. For a year and a half that he was champion. It wasn't an issue when we put the greatest matches of all time.
Yeah, and another thing that you could have easily done that would have made this a little less bullshit is this could have been a match against the team, like we said earlier, Ever Rise, which wouldn't have made sense to have it in the main event. Like we said, this shouldn't have been the main event. But why did the tag titles need to be on the line? Because that was a complete afterthought. Nobody cared.
Yes, and again, if you want to make
unless the match they're gonna do, did they say for certain it's like a singles Pat McAfee versus Adam
it's
Cole?
A single.
Okay, because I was gonna say that I could see a triple threat like Imperium with a fucking Pat McAfee versus Cole.
Oh no, O'Reilly. No. What they're gonna do is just a singles match, and I mean, if that's what you want to do, if you want to step away from professional wrestling, make it make it legit, legitimize your profession. Just go those avenues, and then people who hate AEW for doing that, I want to please start hating on NXT as well, because it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing.
Now, the only thing I will say is that when they have the match, like if he kicks out of any signature, finisher, this is Pat McAfee. If he kicks out of a last shot or something like that, then done.
And that's what I mean.
Because he's not a wrestler. He came in here and he just makes jokes at Adam Cole, and it's like, dude, the only thing you did was walk out on the field and punt the football and then walk, off the field.
And that's what I mean. So, I know that he loves wrestling. I know he's a fan, but not every fan can be a great wrestler. Mm-hmm. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. And, that wraps it up for NXT, Jean-Paul, like you said. I'm a little upset because of what happened. Like I said, I don't think that NXT can go to those routes. I think that, a lot of people appreciate and they have a high respect for NXT for staying away from this. But now that they're resourcing to this, I think that, they need to really consider, what the hell is going on with us. They need to really reconsider this. Why? Because it's not doing justice to what Adam Cole did all this year and a half.
Oh, no, that's all I gotta say. They gotta. I feel like that's why. Hopefully, Takeover 30 is coming up pretty quick. Only 2-3 weeks away. Hopefully, this is the end of the storyline then and the feud, and it's done. because I think they're realizing a lot of people hate this Pat McAfee thing more than they like it. So it's good we only have to deal with it for like
3 weeks. It reminded me of like John Cena against Kevin Federline. That's how bad it was for me. You know, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, the guy's a fan. Good for him. So because we're fans, that means that like in 2 weeks we're gonna show up on NXT and John Paul is gonna like kick Adam Cole because he's like John Paul is way taller than Adam Cole because Adam Cole and I are probably the same size or the same height. So like, okay, yeah, John Paul is believable. So let's have a match with him and then John Paul should be able to kick out from every single thing that Adam Cole can do. No, that's not how it works. That's not how you legitimize your promotion. That's not how you portray anybody. That's all I gotta say. John Paul, remind everybody where they can find us in the social media world, please.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, The Original Rope Break, Twitter, The OG Rope Break, and right here on YouTube, The Original Rope Break.
And, you know, tomorrow, John Paul, Ryan Whitman, the Legend Killer is back. They're going to be talking about every single thing that happened with SmackDown Live. It's going to be an interesting show because, see, the Fiend attack Alexa Bliss, so we're going to see, like, if Ryan Cabrera shows up. I wouldn't be surprised. And also, Keep On kicks the Fiend, and the Fiend is done, you know, like, up right there. And then we set a match for NXT TakeOver 30, and that's going to be Ryan Cabrera against the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
Yep, the Fiend versus Cabrera at SummerSlam.
Yeah, and then they're going to have a competition. Who writes the best romantic song that they can have? You know, it's going to be like those two. Let Me In against, you know, This Is True. There you go, guys. So, Jean Paul, you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...